but just because some other guys may get promoted harder, that don't mean that they better. You know, how somebody is promoted can create an illusion on who's the better fighter. Charles Conwell could fight. He will be a huge favorite over lots of guys who are ranked over him or get more props than he would. A huge favorite to not just beat him but stop him. I think he would be Boots' toughest fight at 154 pounds. Um, in the near future. And then Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz would be tough too. Virgil Ortiz showed me a lot in that fight against Madrimov. He showed me some composure and some calmness, and he wasn't so, you know, just so rigid with everything. But Conwell is smooth, man. He know how to punch to the body. He know how to kind of like stand in front of you and make himself small and make you miss shots. He know what he's doing. It's a shame he hasn't had a title shot yet.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because that could be a big fight down the line. Him and Boots. If he does capture a title.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but the way things is going now, Conwell might not get a title shot for 2026, 2027. Man, it's crazy how boxing is going right now.
Yeah.
But I think he would. I think he would. Him and Virgil Ortiz would be Boots' stiffest competition at 154.
Tell me, you said you don't feel like the other champions will get in there with Boots after that performance. Why do you
I
say
said
that?
I'm not so sure
Not so
that they
sure.
will. Yeah, I mean, just think like it's only but so much money to go around.
Yeah.
Like they would have to pay them guys like I don't want to be negotiating for nobody, but that ain't no like they wouldn't just take no $1 million to go in there and fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like they will have to get paid because you got to make sure a guy is financially secure if he's taking a fight that you don't believe he can win. And I'm not saying they teams don't believe that they can win, but common sense will tell you that you're putting your guy in the fight as a huge, huge underdog. And Brian Norman's a young guy. You know what I mean? Somebody might say, damn, man, we don't need this right now. You're only 23, 24 years old. Mario's a little older and he's had some tough fights. But I don't know, man. I
But
just don't.
Boots, but Boots
I
was
think,
willing to take a pay cut for Stanionis.
okay. All right. I said, I didn't know that.
Right, vice versa. Yeah. So it's like when you say
I
that,
mean,
I
he
hear
might
what you're
have to.
saying.
He might have to take pay cuts to get them guys in the ring. But listen, Tom may run out. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to make 47 forever. Tom may run out. He may just say, forget it, man. I'm not going to just, I'm not, I can't do this no more. That happens. So I think, and guess what? They not stupid. They know that. They know Tom may run out. They may say, you know what? We could wait this out a little bit longer. So who knows? Money talks, though. Boots got a promoter. They gotta see who's good fight, and how much these fights are worth, and they gotta come up with some numbers that make sense for everybody, and we'll see. I would like to see him get a chance to unify, but it's gonna be tough because it's two more belts he got to get. And if one of those other guys, if they don't fight each other, then that means there's two more fights he got to fight at 47. It's going to be tough to do, but let's see what this promoter could come up with.
Yeah, and they're not pay-per-view fights either. Or they don't look like they're gonna be pay-per-view fights.
If Norman, let's say Norman beat Barrios, right?
Ooh.
Right, and
Knock
then
them out though.
he had two belts, and Boots had two belts, and Brian Norman's dad is good at selling fights. I think it probably could be pay per view at that
Yeah.
point if somebody could figure it out. But I don't want to get into that because I'm not getting a check off of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You would have
Uh,
to stack that card regardless though.
you have to stack it. Yep, yep, yep.
100%. I like it. Tip Bayless, thank you for the $5. Breadman, Boots/Virgil versus Jesus Ramos. Break it down, please. I don't think Boots is a favorite over Jesus.
Yeah, he was. Jesus Ramos got outboxed by Erickson Lubin.
Erickson Lubin.
Yeah, he
His
is. He
stock dropped a lot after that.
Boots will be the favorite over him. Yes. They. Do you really think that people that fight was put together to make Jesus Ramos look good and clip Lubin, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Boots will be the favorite over him, but Jesus Ramos is a really good fighter. He's
Yep.
real good, very technically sound. He got good defense. He didn't get blown out by Lubin. It was a close decision. It could have went either way. He's good, but Boots will be the favorite over him. And I'm not saying these fights is easy. I'm just saying that the kid is so talented that the odds makers who not in the business of losing money would make him the favorite over everybody in the world at 147 and 154. I'm just telling you, bro, I gamble. He would be the favorite over everybody. Nobody would be the favorite. Not even Fundora. Fundora was knocked out cold by Brian Mendoza. Fundora face was beat to shreds by Tim Tszyu. And that fight, I wasn't luck, but it was a freak accident. He got a draw with a guy named Jamonte Clark, and he might have lost to Sergio Garcia, and nobody talks about it. These are all facts. You think the odds makers don't know this? And I'm not down in Fedor. Fedor is the truth. I love Fedor. He's a really good fighter. But these all of these things happen in fights. Tim Tszyu just got smoked by Bachram. He wouldn't be the favorite over him.
And
Jesus,
Boots will be favored over Bakram, the IBF champ.
yes, we seen him fight one good fight against
Yep.
Tim Tszyu. Before that, he was taking step aside money for years, and everybody was criticizing him. Then he knocks out Tim Tszyu, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he could beat everybody in the division." He may or may can't. He may or may not be able to beat everybody in the division, but I don't think we know enough about his body of work to say that. Um, who else is at 54? Lupin and Boots would be a great fight. That's a fight.
I like that fight.
That's a freaking fight, man. But
Yeah.
Lubin been off 2 years after his best win. So, like, would anybody make Lubin the favorite over Boots after being off for 2 years after his best win? I
Mm.
don't know. Who else is at 54? Let's see. Talese.
The
Boots will
interim
be
champ.
Boots will be a huge favorite over him. Um,
Oh yeah. Ortiz.
Vir- Virgil Ortiz, I think Boots will be a slight favorite over Ortiz, not a big one. Virgil Ortiz can fight. Virgil Ortiz can fight. But I think he will be the favorite because people will look back on the Boachuk fight. He was dropped twice. He was hurt. A lot of people think he lost that fight. And I'm not criticizing him. I'm just telling you how the odds work. That fight really happened. It happened. And we will have to factor that fight in, which will be a very close fight, but I think Boots will be the favorite.
Yeah, people. Yeah, Ricky Dicky. Thank you for the $2. Yeah, they're saying Jamel. He probably came in late. You believe that he would also be a favorite of Jamel?
Yeah, because Jamel haven't fought in 2 years, bro. Inactivity does matter. So you putting a fight together and you expect and you trying to determine what the odds is on somebody's winning. Would you favor a guy who's 35 and who's been off for 2 years and coming back down in weight after moving up to 168, or a guy who's 27 in the prime of his career that's been fighting actively that then fought 3 times in the last 9 months? You tell me.
Mm.
I wouldn't, and it's not about who's better, but you just tell me who you think would be the favorite in that fight. I think Boots will be a slight favorite over Jamel, not a big one, because Boots do get hit and Jamel can crack. So people would be like, maybe Jamel could clip him. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm talking about Boots would be
He
the
was the
odds-on
undisputed
favorite.
champion.
Yes, yes, he was. And listen, Jamal might be a Hall of Famer, but I think Boots will be a slight favorite over Jamel.
Mm. And his only loss was obviously to the Canelo Alvarez. Wait. No, my bad. And then he fought.
No,
He lost to Tony Harrison as well.
he got a loss to Tony Harrison, and he got a
And
draw with Brian Castano.
Brian
Remember?
Castano. That draw was
Yep.
nasty. I thought he
Yep.
lost that fight actually. Um, but nevertheless, who did you drop? Who did you drop from your pound for pound to add Boots in?
You know what, man? I always kind of had Boots in my pound for pound.
Okay.
I always thought he was a pound for pound fighter. And sometimes when you say good stuff about one fighter, um, people want you to down other fighters. You know what I mean? And it's not like that. I always thought remember when they came out with the thing this era with the four kings?
Yep.
I always thought Boots was more talented than them guys. I always did. I always like, man, we got a kid here in Philly that's better than all of those guys. You know, so my pound for pound list is my pound for pound list, man. It's not even about who I drop. It's just about the guys that I think right now that could beat more people relative to weight and size. Those are the 10 guys that I put in there.
You remember those 10?
Yep, I know them off the top of my head.
Send it off. Let everybody know what's your list.
Bud, Inouye, Usyk, Bivol, Peter Bev, Bam, Canelo, um, Benavidez, Junto Nakatani, and Boots.